It's a brilliant book, by the way. Anyway, so Paramount now, the question's all about, so Paramount came back to me and said, no, look, Paul Newman wants to do this with his daughter, and John Huston will direct it, but we'd like you to do it. I had a hit picture planned, so that was why. And I said, well, let me read it again. Actually, I haven't read it yet. So I read the script. And I thought it needed a lot of work, but it had some good things in it. And my ex-wife at the time, Polly Platt, was going to work on the picture with us, even though we were separated, almost divorced. And I said to her, what do you think of the script? She said, well, it needs work, but I think I know somebody who could play it. Who? Tatum O'Neill. I said, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I remember her. She's got a good face, good voice. Well, if we use Tatum, we can use Ryan. Didn't go the other way around. I went to Tatum and Ryan. And because Ryan was a little angry with me because he was supposed to be in the Western, and Larry said, I can't write for Ryan O'Neill, so we cut him out of the Western. So Ryan was a little pissed off, so I said, Ryan, listen, maybe we'll use Tatum in this thing, but don't tell her, I want to come down and meet with her. He said, all right, and I knew he'd tell her. So I get down to Malibu where he's living, and Tatum's there, she's 8. And Ryan says, you're looking pretty good. You look good. You want to come out here on the beach and run on the beach. Tatum says, oh, Dad, he's not the type. I said, why do you say that, Tatum? She says, well, you always keep your shoes on and don't take your shirt off. Now, she didn't know me, but she was right. So I said to Ryan, she'll do. That's how she got the part. So we decided to make the picture. And now I met with Alvin Sargent, who had written the first draft. We had a long meeting. And when it was over, Alvin said, you know, you made the archetypal director's remark at the beginning of this meeting. I said, well, why? What did I say? You said, it's a very good script, Alvin, it just needs a complete rewrite. Well, it did. Then I read the book, Add and Pray. And there was a whole section in the book, in the middle of the book, which involving a kind of a stripper named Trixie Delight, which Madeline Kahn played. And that was not in the script at all. So I said, let's take that whole thing, it's great, and put it in, make it the second act, which we did. And then we made changes, and we never really were happy with the ending until halfway through shooting, when I came up with the idea of how to end the picture. But I don't want to tell you that now, because for those of you who haven't seen it on the run. So suffice it to say, we winged it until we came up with an ending. Now, whenever I prepare a picture, a period picture, I always look to see what the songs were of that period. We chose 1935 as the year that this picture takes place, the story takes place. And it was originally written to be played in the South. The book is written as a Southern story. But we felt that there had been so many, Tennessee Williams and William Faulkner and everything. I thought, let's not do deep South, let's do Midwest. Also, Polly and I had driven across the country in 1964, and we found that there were no hills in Kansas. We had a car with a cracked block, so we used to have to put it in neutral and go down hills to keep it from overheating. Well, there were no hills in Kansas, so we had a lot of trouble. But they found one hill, when they were doing location scout, they found one hill in Kansas, and it's the hill at the end of the picture. Anyway, that's another story. So we set it in the Midwest, and I was looking for songs from 1935 and back. And one song jumped out at me. It's only a paper moon. It's only a paper moon. And those two words, paper moon, jumped out at me, and I thought, paper moon, that's a good title. And so I went to the studio, I can't remember if it was Bob Evans or Frankie Lawrence, and I said, I got a title for the picture that I think is pretty good, Paper Moon. And he said, what the hell does that mean? I said, it's a good title, don't you think? No. picture, the book was called Addie Pray, and Addie Pray was a bestseller. I said, how many copies did it sell? 100,000. Oh, gee, if we had 100,000 people to see the movie, we'll really be in good shape. All right. No, let's not get into an argument here. It's Addie Pray for now, okay? I said, well, all right. So I thought, shit, I think Paper Moon's a good title. So Orson Welles was a friend of mine, and he was in Rome cutting a picture. The connection to Rome was not great, but I called him. He was in the cutting room, and I said, Orson, can you hear me? Barely. What do you want? I'm cutting. I just want to ask you a question. What? What do you think of this title? Paper Moon. That title is so good, you don't even need to make the picture. Just release the title. So, armed with that ammunition, I called Alvin Sargent. I said, Alvin, you got a carnival scene in the picture where he sees Trixie Delight. He says, yeah. I said, let's put a scene. Remember those old cardboard moons they used to have in carnivals? You see the moon had a picture taken. He said, yeah. I said, put that scene in, let her go have a picture taken in the moon. She wants Ryan to go, he won't go. You have her stick the moon. He said, why are we doing this? I said, so we can call the picture Paper Moon. The studio won't give me a hard time. And then as it turned out, we paid it off later on. Anyway, what can I tell you about this about it? Tatum won an Oscar. She was the youngest actress to ever win an Oscar. She'd never acted before. She had a great voice and a great face, and because she was inexperienced, she was very easy to direct. Because I just told her what to do, and she did it. And didn't give me no argument. But I also think when you're directing kids, you have to treat them like adults. You can't treat them like kids because they're doing an adult job. So we had another girl in the picture who never acted, a black girl named P.J. Johnson. I'll tell you how she got the part. I went to Houston to cast a few of the parts because we had good luck in Houston and Dallas for the last picture show. So we went down there to cast some of this. And the casting fellow, Gary Jason, brought me 7 black girls, varying sizes and ages. And I was sitting in, Houston is part of Texas, right? So it's gigantic hotel rooms. I mean, it's from the whole stage is the hotel room. And so P.J. Johnson, who ultimately got the part, comes in. She's about the 6th girl to come in. She comes in the door and she had to walk a long distance to get to me. And as she's walking, she looks at me and she says, "Ooh-wee, you good looking." I said, "You got the part." I swear that's true. I thought she could say that like that. "Ooh-wee, you good looking." I thought it's great. So she got the part. Anyway, we had a scene where the two of them were sitting in the back of the car, and it was a very difficult scene. We did it about 13 times, and didn't really get it right. And I said, I printed a couple of them, but I knew it wasn't good enough. So the studio called me up and said, that girl, that black girl's not very good, is she? I said, no. What are you going to do, recast her? I said, yeah. So we came back about a week later, and we started going to do it again. But I took the girls, both girls. PJ was 15, I think, and Dana was still 8. She turned 9 before the picture ended. And I said, no, let me tell you a story. This is the story I told them. I said, Howard Hawks was making a picture called 20th Century with Carol Lombard and John Barrymore. It was the first picture that Carol Lombard made when she was a comedian. I asked Hawks how he happened to cast her. He said, well, I'd seen her at a couple of parties with some drinks in her, and she was funny to hell. And she came on the set this day, and first day, and she was just terrible. She was acting her head off. Barrymore looked at me and went like this. I said, I know it. So I said to Carol, let's go to lunch early and take it out. So we walked out, and I said to Carol, how much, I'm telling this to the kids like this. I said, how much money are you making on this picture? she told me, and I said, now what would you do if I told you that you'd earned your whole salary and you didn't have to work, and you didn't have to act anymore? She said, are you kidding? I said, no. Okay. Now what would you do if somebody called you no good son of a bitch? She said, I'd kick him in the balls. I said, well, we just called you that. Why don't you kick him? She said, you kidding? I said, no. So we went in and we started the scene, and she started kicking him. And you can see Barrymore jumps back, and he said, we did the scene, and he turned to her and said, what the hell happened to you? You're terrific. And she burst into tears, and she ran off, and she never did start a picture without sitting in the television and saying, I'm going to start kicking him. So I told this to the girls, I said, you don't have to act, just be yourself. And then I talked to them, so this is the way I direct it. Anyway, they went out and did the scene, and we got it on the first, second, or third take. And the studio called and said, that new girl you guys is much better. So, we made the picture, and we did pretty well at getting success. I'm very happy with the picture. I'm very happy with it indeed. There's a lot of stories I can tell you about making. It wasn't easy to do at all. There's some scenes in there that when I see them now, I don't know how they got taken to do it. But she was a trooper, I have to say. You know what a trooper is? Well, I'll tell you a story. W.C. Fields. W.C. Fields hated children and dogs. You know what W.C. Fields do? Anybody who hates children and dogs can't be on bad. And he was doing a picture with Baby Leroy in 1933 or so. And Baby Leroy was about a year and a half. So Fields put gin in the kid's formula. So the kid, of course, had to be taken off the set. So as he was being taken off the set, because he was sick, Fields watched him go. Kid's no trooper. Anyway, when you see the picture, you realize, when I see the picture, I think to myself, we really did this. There's some scenes in there where there's no cut, and the actors just play the scene, you know, there's no CGI, there's no tricks, there's no editing. The actors did the scene, and they did it brilliantly. And it reminds me of the story, which I'm going to tell you now, and I'm going to let you see the picture. About talking about what movies are and what makes them so great. Since you're all movie fans, you must be, otherwise you wouldn't be here. I was sitting in Jimmy Stewart's living room, and we were talking about what makes pictures so special. And Jimmy said, well, you know, I was shooting a picture in Colorado, and we broke for lunch, the usual terrible box lunch. And then one of the fellows that was watching us, the tourist, came over to me and he looked down at me and said, you, Stewart? I said, yeah. He said, you said a poem in a picture once. That was good. Oh, thank you. And that's all he said. And he walked away. And I knew just what he meant. It was a scene in a picture we made 20 years before. And I was in a bar and I said a poem about a firefly or something like that. And he remembered it all these years. And I thought, now that's the wonderful thing about the movies. Because if you're good, and God helps you, and you're lucky enough to have a personality that comes across, and what you're doing is you're giving people little tiny pieces of time that they never forget. That's the best description of movies I've heard. I'll see you later.